So if you don't know, I'm on the way now to see Luke Dugan. Why? Because that guy did £84,000 in revenue on his own in 1 month. And that is interesting because I want to be doing 150,000 in 1 month, Q4. Let's go. Right, if you don't know, I am here with Mr. Luke Dugan, Mr. FBA UK. He is an expert at the replenishable side and he's going to share some top tips with us today. So, first things first, Luke, thank you very much for letting me come meet you. Do you want to introduce yourself and say
yeah, obviously a lot of you will know who I am already, but my name is Luke Dugan. I have a YouTube and Facebook group, Mr. FBA UK, that I set up about 3 years ago, something like that, just to help people who are in the Amazon space and needed some help basically, because there was a lot of information that wasn't there. And so, 3 years later, I'm now with this guy.
I know, what a shame. It's like, oh my God, he's finally succeeded in Amazon where he's been succeeding for a long time. And then I come along and meet him. What the hell? So where are we now?
We are in a place called Kaunas, which is in Lithuania, as many of you might know already.
And quick question, why Lithuania? What's the reason?
Yeah, of course. Well, it's like, no, not luckily, but earlier this year I was like, right, let's start to try to find some places to go that I might want to move to. Maybe not long term, maybe just to see, just to try things. And I went to Malta, and it was great. It was picturesque and it was great, but it was just like little things weren't like what I could see myself living there. Like the food wasn't from the supermarket wasn't great, and it was like I could eat out, but it's going to cost me like £500 a week to eat out. And I was like, just the little like life things that you kind of look at. And then I realised, maybe it wasn't for me. And my friend was going to Lithuania, and he said to me, "Do you want to go in 2 days' time?" And this is back in March, and I said no. And then I sat there and thought, you know what? If you're not going to do like something as simple as go away for 4 days to Lithuania with a mate last minute, then when are you ever going to do anything? Considering you work, a laptop lifestyle, or you can do work abroad. I can go to Lithuania and actually work. I slept on it and thought, Luke, stop being stupid and just go. And I went. And then I actually really loved the place, and then decided why not move out. And I kind of just, once I got back, I was like, you know what, that's like, see how the Corona thing sorts itself out. But then as soon as I saw it open up, I was like, right, book the ticket, book my Airbnb for 3 months, then I'm done. There's no going back, there's no mucking around. And then that date is when you're going, and that's exactly what happens.
My God,
done.
Exciting. So quick question for you, are you living the laptop lifestyle, would you say, right now?
Well, I'm working on a computer, but I do work on my laptop. I'm getting there. I actually am getting there because, I knew it wouldn't be an instant transition because I've never really done anything like that before. And even now with for me, limited stuff that I've kind of brought, like the laptop style, like, a bag, a suitcase and your laptop, I'm even now thinking, do I really need that? Do I really need that? And now starting to realize, it slowly but surely sort of managing that down to a point where I will be able to basically live off a suitcase, a backpack and a laptop.
We heard it here first. He tells you what's going on in the laptop lifestyle. So I think we should do another video about how to do the laptop lifestyle with him. And maybe you can show us around the area, what's going on and what we do. So obviously I appreciate we're not here to listen about Luke and his laptop lifestyle. We're here to learn about replenishables. So quick question for you. Would you say replenishables have been a fundamental part of the laptop lifestyle?
First, I'll change and I'll say I've adapted it and evolved it in my mind into I call it sustainables, is basically what I call it. I try to call it that as much as I can because I tried to differentiate between replenishables, which is finding a product which you can then buy again. That's the kind of what that means. It's a product that you can go and buy again, or maybe a couple of times or whatever it is. But you're doing normal on an arbitrage style, and then you're finding products as you do the normal process, which are then a replenishable. But with the sustainables, it's a whole business model concept on its own. And for me, it's not even just the sourcing of a product, which then becomes a product you can buy again, but it's the way you're analysing the deal, the way you're finding the deals, the way you're even approaching finding deals. If it's a deal that might only sell once, or you can buy and sell once, I probably won't look at it because I'm looking at it through a different, scope, which is that sustainable approach.
Okay, interesting. So a different approach of it, different name, and I think it's important to differentiate that. So thank you for sharing. So obviously today we're here, 3 top tips sustainables, replenishables, there's a difference, just explained. So take us away, what are they?
Of course, so there's this, in no particular order, I try to do it in least importance, building up to the main one, which is how I value the most important one, but each can adapt it to their own method and style and make it as important as you want it. So the first one is finding brother and sister variations or bundles. So you find a product that you like, you analyze it, you're like, right, yeah, let's put it into the arsenal. You start selling it, great, but don't just leave it there. Don't just go, okay, I'll check what's going on with that. If I can buy more, I can buy more. And that's as far as your thought process goes. Also think, you know what, can I find more products like this? Because the sustainable type of products are consumables mostly. So they're products that people don't just buy one of, they're probably buying different flavors, different styles, different sizes, all different variations. So you can actually maybe even find up to like 10 leads through one lead. So you can find, instead of just looking for a 2-pack, you find the 4-pack, the 6-pack, the 8-pack, even go and create the gaps in the market. If there's no 6, there's no 8, or there's no 2, go ahead and create those. And then look for the variations. If you haven't got like like some Sanex, like raspberry, go and buy the lemon. People are buying the raspberry, they're probably going to be buying the lemon. And because these kind of consumable products, these sustainable products are very obvious to us as well, because we are used to seeing, we can identify what a Sanex product is. We know roughly the flavors that people buy. It's not like going and looking at bikes and I've got no idea which brands are what. It's kind of like these products are pretty, day in, day out products that you've been around through your whole life, which is why it's quite easy to understand and sort of reflect on where you might be able to do, it doesn't take too much thought to actually find, okay, let's look at the lemon, let's look at the raspberry. And I've definitely found maybe from one lead, maybe up to 10, just by, taking the time to actually look for those. And yeah, it's a little bit more work, but once you've done it once, and it obviously being a sustainable product, meaning it doesn't just have, you're doing one lot of deal analysis, but it can reward 12 months of returns, 24 months of returns. So if you then split it out per month, the amount of effort to go and find them is like 30 seconds or a minute's worth of actual, like you're only basically spending 1 minute to actually maximize like a year's return. So yeah, it does take a little bit more manual work maybe, or a virtual assistant that you could get to do, but you're then going to reap the rewards month in, month out for the foreseeable future, because those products, again, there's no like, it's not like toys where a new bear will come on the market and it's great for one Christmas and then, it's okay the rest, and then it just sort of fades away. Sanex is probably getting, like Sanex, whatever, is probably getting sold 10 years ago, and the bottle might have changed a little bit, but it's pretty much the same thing. And that's the thing you've got to, and it's just by maximizing those, just chipping away, adding one here, one there, over about a year, you can seriously maximize like 10 leads to 100 to almost as many as you want if you keep looking.
If I just clarify, what you're saying there, find a replenishable item. Once you found one, or the sustainable item,
yes,
sorry, my God.
Of course.
Sustainable item, look around it, think around, there's going to be lots of other products that could be similar in nature that are going to be sustainable as well. So
definitely, yeah. It's more, if they are a consumable product, that mostly means there is some sort of sustainable approach to it, because people always need them. That's kind of where you need to do it. And then therefore, all the variations should be there as well.
Cool. Carry on.
Number 2, compounding your sustainable list, or sustainables, however we want to do it. Quite a broad word, but the way that I'm kind of go about it is, let's say you find one product lead a week, and that's probably very sparse. Like you can probably find 5, just like I said in the first example, 1 can turn into 5 anyway, so I'm just going to go off the approach of 1. If you just find 1, in 4 years, you can have over 200. And yeah, you might think 4 years, that's a lot of work, but let's say I've been doing Amazon for 4 years and I sell on average maybe 250 listings all the time, and then I have others that come in and out depending on what I can, how often I can get it and stuff like that. But at any one time, I'll have at least 200 active. That will be like my foundation list, pretty much. I know it will do a minimum of 15 grand, 20 grand a month, depending on the time of the year, time of the month. And it will bring me in a minimum income. That's the kind of way it is. So just by compounding 1, you could, in 4 years, to get to where you're making 2 grand a month profit, net profit, just by finding 1 extra lead a week. And that's not really going to happen. You'll probably find 10 on some weeks. 10 here, 15 here. They're not that difficult once you get into the swing of things. So one's just being really, really like generous. And then within 4 years, you literally can just copy and paste the sustainables into next month and the month after. You don't, there's no work. You just spend 1 hour a month, or if you want, and you spend 15 grand on all those items. And then you just do it again the next month, and a month after, and a month after, and a month after. And that's pretty much the way it goes.
So number 2, compounding. And basically that's just keep doing it. Yeah, initially you're gonna think, it's not really working out, I need more, but over time it adds up massively. And hey, you know what? You shared some of your deals with me before, not that I bought them, but just kind of like comparison. And I'd be like, oh my God, like just some of what his purchases are. And I think, some days you walk away and go, I spent 25 grand today. I was like, 25,000.
Yeah, I think the most in a month, I can't even remember now. I know the most in wholesale I spent in the month, in my second month of wholesale, was like 28,000. Like, to me, I was just getting into it and but then when I actually looked at how much have I spent, because I was just curious at the actual spend, it was like 28 grand for a month spend. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm not like slowly going into it. Maybe I am actually, going into it pretty heavy. Not that that's every month, but that's kind of like where I was.
And what was really interesting, I just kind of point out as well, is the fact that I think we started off a bit about the laptop lifestyle, but for you, you're not spending all your time sourcing. You literally kind of wake up one day and go, right, I'm going to order on Monday and on Thursday, and I sit there and spend 4 hours purchasing. And spend 10 grand. And that's it. He's done, because you're not having to go and find. You've already got the product.
It's more about. A lot of people source products every single day, and they have to do that to make enough money to cover their costs every month. If I don't source product today, too many days of that, and it can have a negative effect on the business. With the way I approach this is that will always be my fallback no matter what happens. So I'll always cover my expenses. I'll always cover the £2,000 net profit I want for myself, or whatever it is. And you can adjust those products to fit your specifications each month, or whatever you need. After sales analytical data.
Say that again.
What do I mean? I just threw some words together to make it sound fancy.
Analytical data.
Basically focusing, once you've got these products and you're selling them, and you start to get comfortable with them, you want to be maximizing the products, because you might look at all the data on Keeper, on BuyBook Pro, on whatever you're using, to give you your estimated sales a month, your profits, and you start to look at things and think, I'll buy 15 or 20. You best guess is kind of how it starts, isn't it? You make a best guess, and then you will put it into the market and you'll sell it. And you might sell them faster, there's some slower, some days might be really good, some might, and you roughly get over them. Let's say it takes you a month to sell out, you go, oh look, I sold 20 in a month. Maybe I'll see if I can buy more, and then you might go ahead and buy more. I found to be the most important factor in my business is to crunch the data afterwards. The actual sales data that you have, let's say you're using Sellerboard, for example, as your go-to after-sales analytical software, then you can use that and really squeeze out all the extra units and profit margins in your business through the products you're already selling. An example could be, let's say that you have 200 lines or ASINs that you're selling, and you buy 20 of each, because that's what the data says. You'll buy 20. Next month you might buy 22 because you think, oh, I'll buy a little bit more, whatever. But if you actually look at the data and you analyze it down to the day, what was your best day, what was your best week, what was your best 2 weeks, and best month, even you can go into the extremes of the best quarter, your best year, if you've been doing this a long time, and really getting a bit more of a good feel of the average per day, the max average per day, the max average per week, and you'll probably go, oh look, well, on an average month per week, it sells 28 or 30 or 600 or whatever the number is. And you can then go, okay, well that's 4 sales extra a week or a month or whatever it is on that ASIN, yeah? And then, but you have 200 lines. Okay, so 200 ASINs that you're selling. Well, what about the others? 3 there, 1 there, 16 there. Sometimes, and you'll find that sometimes you're correct and it is exactly what you thought. Sometimes you'll overestimate and it's actually less, and sometimes you'll underestimate. And I find most of the time it's underestimating your actual potential, because it's not just that, how many it's selling, but how many people are on the buy box at the time, how many sellers are there, how many merch, all these little specific pieces of data that need to be taken into consideration. The best way I found it is if you're in stock on the buy box as much as possible, like 99% of the time, yes, you've got to be competitive, but you can get a true representation of the actual value of that product and what it can actually do, and then you can then base your decisions off that. And of course, you might not want to sell it as low as that, but now you've got the true data. That's where the true value in it, my Amazon business and a lot of others is, because they now know how many to buy. And that could be the difference between 30,000 turnover a month and to 50,000 turnover a month, just by using the same products you're already selling, which is the opposite of what a lot of people do, and then they're looking and chasing that next deal.
So looking at the sales data afterwards to estimate how much you should actually, not saying estimate, to actually see how much you are selling and to realising the opportunities that you've already found. So maximising what you've already done. That'd be right.
And I'm going to add in a little bonus here.
Oh, top bonus. Oh, I'm excited.
Because I realised I forgot it. But, well, the way I approach it, everyone's different, is these sustainable products need to be looked at in a light which is more towards what its value is as a monthly return or an annual return. A lot of people will analyse a product, they'll find out what the profit is, and they'll decide if that's acceptable for them. Either if it's the actual pound value, or if it's the ROI or margin, whatever number you go off. And sometimes you can look at it, and if you start to go, is it worth it? Is it not? But if this is the example I give to people. Well, if you looked at its monthly return, let's say it was £60, £80, nothing crazy, but it was a bit more than a couple of quid or something. You'd be like, okay, well, it's that starts to mean something to me. What can I do with £60? What can I do with £70? Whatever it is. And it's like I say, well, when you have your phone bill, do you go, oh, look, so it cost me 3p a minute. No, I won't get that. Like, you don't represent anything. Mortgages, bills, they're all monthly. I mean, if you want to look at it in salary terms, if you can get a return of like £30,000, £40,000 a year, what do you need to do to get that? It doesn't really matter what it actually involves to get there. And if you're selling yourself out of products because you're looking at the finite details, which is actually irrelevant, it's not even important. It's actually about what you can do with it. So over a month, if you can sell 30, it gives you 60 quid. What would that be? The phone bill. Okay, well, if you've got the capital, why not actually buy it? If you've got the capital, if you haven't got the capital, of course, be selective and maximize your volume product, quantity products with your margin, higher profitability products. Obviously hybrid that, but if you've got the capital available, why not? Because £60, that can pay for your phone bill, that can pay for buy book product, and pay for all the different deal services. I mean, I can go on. And it's like, by looking at it in a different light, it changes how good or bad a product can be. And that's how so there's a lot of products that I'll buy, and everyone else will look at them completely different to how I do, just because of the way that I look at it. And that's a really important thing.
So if I clarify there, you're saying look at a product not on like right now, look at it over time. So it's going to change over time, and say don't just look at it in isolation, look at it over that time period.
Exactly, because you can be easily put off by looking at a pound profit, but it's like, it doesn't really matter. Why are you even looking at it in that form? It's like, and that stems itself more towards if you are buying 5 or 10 products from a new deal, you probably will be looking at it at that, because you don't look at it in annually or monthly, because it's a day-to-day new product that you found from FBA or something like that. But when you adjust it into the more sustainable approach mindset, the way you perceive it is completely different, which then creates its true value. So I literally create its value by the approach I give it compared to other people.
Cool, fantastic. Thank you very much. So obviously 3 top tips there, and 1 bonus one.
Plus bonus.
Plus bonus, yeah. Oh my God, excited. So obviously you're here, and if anyone wants to get in contact with you, what's the best way they can do it? Of course,
so you can get in contact with me, obviously my Facebook group, Mr. FBA UK, or the YouTube channel, link in the description above, below.
I'll put a link
you can do it above.
Yeah, and down below for the Facebook group.
And of course, if you want to contact me on Facebook directly, it's Luke Dugan, and I'll always reply to people. It might take a couple of days, but more than welcome. Why not?
He's busy living the laptop lifestyle out here in Lithuania. You talked about 3 months. What's next? What's the plans on the card?
So for the rest of the year, I'll be here. I pretty much accepted, when I came out, I accepted that. I've only paid the Airbnb till the end of next month, but in my mind, I thought, that's just take it as it comes. I'll probably look to go home for a little bit, see the family, because obviously they haven't been able to come out here because they have to do 2 weeks self-quarantine. So, And even Tom did 2 weeks self-quarantine beforehand. So I'll probably go and see them, and then who knows what the next year will hold. I'm happy, I'm happy to see where I don't want to get caught up in too much thought process about where I can be, because this time, beginning of the year, I didn't think I'd be here. So it's like, well, not much difference in time again. Who knows what, I could be anywhere in the world, or I could be here.
Cool. Well, you heard it here. Obviously, he's traveling. He's not sure where he's going to go. He's just living life by the seat of his pants. So, quick question for you. Last year, I just want to ask this question right now. It's September.
It is.
Coming up towards October. Last year, you did a video, £84,000 in December, basically Q4. Just 1 month, really. Have you got a target for this year? Can you let us into it?
Yeah, I mean,
where is he going?
You know what? Realistically, I don't know the actual. I more put the things in place to create it, but it has to, it has to fulfill its destiny on its own. Yeah. Because I don't know, we can't sell it to the people have to be buying it. You can only put it where, put it in the eyes of the customer, whatever you want to call it. But I would say, this month I want to do about 60, and then that's September, so that's say 70 in October. I want to do over 100 grand basically in December anyway alone. So I'd like to do 250,000 over the Q4 period, so October to December. Anything over 200 I will be happy, and I want to do at least £100,000 month. But the rest would be a bonus.
And you heard it here, 6-figure month, Mr. FBA UK, hashtag exciting. Oh my God, that is going to be fun. Right, Mr. Luke Dugan, thank you very much. Thank you from everyone watching and from me, and taking your time out of your busy day, living a laptop lifestyle, to record this video with me. So thank you so much, and you guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care, bye-bye.